To North America, and a political firestorm is brewing in Washington as the White House accuses the Obama administration of manipulating intelligence to undermine Donald Trump's 2016 election victory. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, in a joint press briefing with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, revealed what she called irrefutable evidence showing that top Obama-era officials deliberately crafted a false intelligence assessment about Russian interference based on discredited sources like the Steele Dossier. Gabbard called the actions a treasonous conspiracy and claimed they amounted to a years-long coup to reverse the will of American voters. According to a newly declassified House Intel report, these officials overrode earlier findings and pushed an altered narrative post-election. Let's have a listen now to those comments by Tulsi Gabbard and Caroline Leavitt.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't. The report that we released today shows in great detail how they carried this out.
That former President Barack Obama and top aides in the Obama administration conspired to subvert President Trump's 2016 election victory and undermine the democratic will of the American people. While publicly pretending to engage in a peaceful transfer of power, in private, former President Obama went to great and nefarious lengths to try to sow discord among the public and sabotage his successor, President Trump. There is a lot of irony, especially for the party of the Democrat Party, who claims to be for democracy. We often heard throughout the 2024 campaign they were calling this president a threat to democracy. And now I think the declassification of all of these documents proves that they were indeed the true threat to democracy. And as I said repeatedly today, there needs to be justice and accountability.
Well, once again, we are joined by Mark Sutherland, geopolitical commentator, joining us live from London. Mark, thank you for staying on the programme. We don't have too much longer left, but I just want to get your thoughts on these statements. There was, of course, in 2017, a review into this alleged Russian interference in the election, which Marco Rubio was part of as well. And interesting findings there. Those comments from Tulsi Gabbard and Caroline Leavitt making a clear agenda here. What are your thoughts on that?
Joshua, hi. But the bottom line is that many people have talked about two wings of the same bird between the Republicans and the Democrats. That was the pre-discussion that was happening in 2016 as we were leading up to that election. President Trump now then said from Trump Tower in New York that he alluded to the fact that he is being spied on. And then, of course, we had Russia. We have to remember Hillary Clinton smashing up her Blackberries, having 35,000 plus emails outside any State Department control, but privately in servers in New York and in other places. I think she had 3 places. This has been ongoing, and of course we've had Clapper, Brennan and co. There were 30 signatures saying that the Hunter Biden laptop is a complete fallacy and all this. The 3-letter agencies that are too powerful step over many lines in regard to what has recently happened within American political history. There is so much to say, and as you say, we don't have time, but it is real. It is real of how people manipulate things. Just quickly, when after Susan Rice is sent out to then talk about Benghazi, to say, oh no, this is not happening, and going on TV to actually move the needle, move the narrative in regard to geopolitical actions that were happening under the Obama administration at that point. This is all extremely real. The number one thing is to get all the truth out there, everything on the table, so people can draw their own conclusions or have their conclusions affirmed. The key thing is yes, that within the constitutional republic, people vote, and they vote to put someone in the White House, and they expect them to have actions, not to have other sources overthrow their democratic voting means.
Absolutely, Mark. I'm just looking for a very brief answer. Should American citizens trust American politics?
Josh, we can all say that, and that is part of the smoke and mirrors. To be honest, you and I don't have a time to discuss the Fabian or communist antics, but that's partly it: is to get the citizens to be to be completely and utterly fed up with their particular systems, and then other people that are nefarious are able to come in and then change that. The number one thing is to seek the truth constantly and to speak that out.
Mark Sutherland, thank you ever so much for your time and for discussing both of those topics with us. We now quickly look at India's